Have you ever paused in the stillness of your home, realizing days have passed without a friendly voice on the line? No cherished companion to share your early thoughts over coffee. No one calling just to see how you are holding up. No one to turn to when life's burdens feel too heavy. What if the quietest struggle of growing older is not just the calm around you, but the yearning for connection deep within? In this video, we are uncovering a truth rarely voiced. What it means for older women to lose the friendships that once brightened their lives, and how this reshapes their joy, sense of self, and well-being. 1. The unseen threat of a lonely soul. Loneliness is not just a passing wave of sadness. It is a hidden danger that can quietly erode both your body and your mind. For older women, this is not merely about feeling alone. It is a health risk that experts now rank alongside smoking or chronic disease. Unlike a fever or a broken bone, loneliness does not appear in medical tests. It shows up in restless nights, creeping worries, and a growing sense that you are slowly slipping out of focus in your own story. Imagine Margaret, a 69-year-old who moved to a quaint rural town after retiring, eager for a slower pace. She pictured long walks, cozy evenings with books, and time to savor life. But within months, she found herself struggling. She overslept. I forgot small details like her grocery list, and felt her energy fade. Her doctor gave her a clean bill of health, but Margaret knew something was wrong. Without the regular warmth of friends, her thoughts grew hazy. Her self-worth faltered, and her love for life dimmed. Margaret's experience is not just her own. It is grounded in science. Studies from places like the National Institute on Aging reveal that loneliness does more than tug at your emotions. It triggers inflammation, weakens your defenses against illness, and hastens cognitive decline. Older adults who feel isolated are more likely to face dementia, depression, and even heart issues. This happens because humans are built for connection. Without it, our systems, from our immune response to our mental clarity, begin to falter, not in a dramatic crash, but in a slow, silent unraveling. The tragedy is that many women blame themselves. They think, I am just aging, or I should handle this better. But this is not about personal failure. It is about a vital human need going unmet. Margaret did not need a bustling social life. She needed just one person to share a moment, a laugh, or a quiet understanding. That kind of connection does not just lift your mood, it bolsters your health. Research shows that even simple, meaningful interactions can reduce stress, strengthen immunity, and keep your mind sharp. Yet, society often urges older women to stay active, volunteer, or lean on family. Those are valuable, but they are not the same as true connection. You can be surrounded by people, attend every community event, and still feel invisible. Loneliness is not cured by busyness. It is healed by being truly seen. What mends that ache is not a packed schedule, but genuine, heartfelt moments, a chat where you feel understood, a glance that says you matter. That is what so many older women are missing. Not because they have failed, but because no one showed them how to rebuild those bonds in later years. The hope lies in awareness. When you recognize loneliness as a call to action, not a mark of shame, you open the door to change. You do not need to overhaul your life. One small gesture, like reaching out to a neighbor or joining a local group, can light a spark. Margaret took a tentative step. She signed up for a weekly painting class, nervous but curious. Over time, she started talking with others, swapping stories, and feeling a bit more like herself. It was not a cure-all, but it was a beginning. That is the beauty of connection. Even a single thread can shift your world. 2. The quiet void no one talks about. Aging comes with changes we all expect. A few more aches, hair turning silver, or extra time spent at the doctor. We brace for those shifts. But there is one loss that catches many women over 60 off guard. It is the slow fading of friendships that once felt like family. This is not about loud loneliness or sudden isolation. It is a subtle, heavy ache when you realize the people who filled your days with laughter and understanding are no longer there. For older women, this unspoken loss reshapes their joy, their sense of self, and even their health in ways no one prepares them for. Ellen, a 70-year-old, moved to a sunny retirement village, imagining peaceful mornings and new adventures. She had it all planned. Ati di bungalow, a small porch for reading, and freedom to save her life. But months later, she sat at her kitchen counter, staring at a silent phone, wondering why no one reached out. The late-night chats, the shared cups of tea, the comfort of a friend who truly knows you, those had slipped away. Ellen is not alone in this. Her story mirrors a quiet truth many women face, where the absence of connection stings more than expected. This loss does not hit all at once. It creeps in slowly. Your children build their own lives, perhaps across the country. Longtime neighbors move away. A spouse might pass. Or retirement ends, the daily hum of workplace banter. Little by little, the threads of connection unravel. The phone stops buzzing. Invitation dry up. And what was once a warm circle of friends shrinks into a quiet space of solitude. In that stillness, loneliness takes hold, not with fanfare, but with a weight that settles deep. For many older women, this fading of friendship is one of the hardest, yet least discussed parts of growing older. Ellen thought her new home would be a sanctuary, but no amount of cheerful decor could replace the spark of a friend's laughter or the ease of a heartfelt talk. A house can be perfect, but it cannot fill the emptiness left by missing people. This is the silent sorrow many women navigate. Not a lack of possessions, but a lack of presence. Society often glosses over this. There is an expectation that older women should be fine with occasional family calls, a hobby, or a community event. Those things matter, but they are not the same as a deep friendship. The kind that makes you feel seen, valued, and truly alive. There is also a false idea that older women no longer crave or need close bonds, as if connection has an age limit. That is simply not true. Science tells us otherwise. Studies show that strong social ties in later years lower stress, boost mental clarity, reduce dépression, and even help you live longer. Beyond the data, friendships do something profound. They remind you that you are still deserving of love, joy, and trust. Without them, life's challenges, like health worries or daily frustrations, can feel overwhelming. A friend is not just for good times. They are an anchor, offering perspective, comfort, and sometimes a reason to keep going. When those bonds fade, many women turn the blame inward. They think, I must not be enough. Or, this is just what aging is. That is not the case. This is not your fault. It is a gap in how we support older adults. We focus on physical wellness, but rarely on emotional health. This video is here to name that quiet truth, to voice what you might only say to yourself, I miss having someone to share my life with. If that is you, you are not flawed or alone. And here is the hope. It is never too late to rebuild, to reach out, to rediscover the warmth of connection. 3. Why bonds drift apart after 60 and how to rekindle them. Life after 60 is a season of transitions, often more disruptive than we anticipate. Retirement promise freedom. But for many, it also means losing the daily banter of coworkers who doubled as friends. Children grow up and move away, sometimes across states or countries, leaving homes that once buzzed with activity, now hushed. The loss of a spouse can leave a void, or even if a partner is still present, the emotional closeness may have faded, making you feel unseen in your own space. Relocating to a new town or a senior community, meant to offer calm and comfort, can sever long-held routines and relationships. These are not mere changes. They are seismic shifts that reshape your social landscape. Consider Ruth, a 65-year-old who moved to a serene lakeside town after retiring. She envisioned peaceful mornings by the water, a cozy home, and time to explore her passions. But months later, she found herself sitting on her porch, flipping through her phone, missing the easy laughter of old friends. The loss was not immediate. It crept in gradually. One day, she realized it had been weeks since she had a real, soul-filling conversation. As she scrolled through her contacts, wondering who to reach out to, a heavy thought settled in. Maybe it is too late to start over. But here is the reality. It is never too late. Forming friendships in later life takes a different approach, but it is entirely within reach. In your younger years, friendships often formed effortlessly, sparked by shared classrooms, workplaces, or neighborhood events. Proximity handed you connections, but after Trez, connection becomes a choice, one that demands intention, bravery, and a willingness to step into unfamiliar spaces. It might mean signing up for a local art class, attending a community potluck, or sending a simple text to someone from your past. It can feel intimidating, like walking into a room where everyone already knows each other. But every thriving group, whether it is a knitting circle, a book club, or a morning walking crew, began with someone who decided to take a chance and show up. Ruth was unsure at first, but she took a small step. She joined a weekly birdwatching group at her local park, feeling out of place but curious. At first, conversations were tentative, but over time, she started swapping stories about favorite trails and childhood memories. Those moments grew into something deeper, a sense of belonging she had not felt in months. The secret is to start small. Say yes to one opportunity this week. Maybe a library talk or a senior center activity. If mobility is a challenge, explore online communities. Reach out to an old friend with a brief message. Like, "I was thinking of you. How have you been?" These actions may seem minor, but their impact is profound, touching your heart, mind, and even your health. Stepping into new social spaces can stir up nerves. No one relishes feeling like the outsider, but the women who rebuild their social worlds do not do it by being flawless or extroverted. They do it by staying open to new faces, open to the awkwardness of first meetings, open to the possibility of joy. You do not need a large circle. One meaningful friend can change everything. And if you fear your chance has passed, let this sink in. Some of the richest friendships are forged not in youth, but in the wisdom and depth of later years. 4. The truth about beginning again. Your age is no barrier to new bonds. In our last section, we explored why friendships slip away after 60 and how small, brave steps can spark new connections. Yet, even when women take those steps, joining a class or reaching out, a nagging doubt often lingers. A voice whispers, "I am too old to make new friends." That voice is not your truth. It is a lie society has woven, and today, we are unraveling it. For women over 60, starting over is not just possible, it is powerful. Your age is not a limit. It is a strength. And your next great friendship might be closer than you think. There is a harmful myth that older women lose their desire or ability to form new relationships. Nothing could be further from reality. In fact, many women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond find themselves more open, more attuned to what truly matters in a friendship than ever before. Why? Because life has taught them, through joy, loss, and hard-won wisdom. They have learned that connection is not about impressing others or keeping up appearances. It is about being seen for who you are, flaws and all, and being embraced anyway. That clarity is a gift of age, not a barrier. The women who push past loneliness and rebuild their social worlds do not do it by chasing youth or pretending to be someone else. They do it by leaning into the strengths of their years, authenticity, perspective, and a deep understanding of what makes life rich. These are not obstacles to friendship. They are magnets. While younger people might bond over trends or social pressures, older women connect over stories, shared truths, and a longing for companionship that cuts through the surface. Your life experience is not a weight. It is a bridge to meaningful relationships. Consider Evelyn, a 73-year-old who felt isolated after moving to a new city. For months, she stayed home, convinced no one would want to connect with her. But one day, she took a chance and signed up for a local history lecture series she almost canceled, nervous about being the odd one out. But she went. In that room, she met a small group of women, aged 65 to 80, who shared her love of learning. They started talking first about the lectures, then about their lives, their losses, and their dreams. That weekly meetup became her anchor. Not because it solved every problem, but because it reminded her she still belonged. Evelyn's story shows the secret to new friendships. It is not about having the perfect words or a polished presence. It is about showing up, staying open, and letting others in, even if it feels slow at first. You do not need a crowd. One true friend can transform your world. One shared moment over tea, one honest conversation, one new name in your phone you know you can trust. And if you worry you have missed your window, let this sink in. Some of the strongest bonds are forged not in youth, but in the fire of life's lessons, in the courage of starting anew. Starting over does not mean recreating the past. It means building something new, on your terms, with the wisdom you have earned. It might look like joining a choir, volunteering at a local shelter, or simply saying hello to someone at the park. Each step, no matter how small, is a victory. Evelyn did not become the most outgoing person in her group, but she showed up week after week, and that was enough. Over time, those women became her safe haven, a place to laugh, cry, and feel alive again. The fear of being too old can hold you back, but it is just that, fear, not fact. Society may tell you connection is for the young, but your heart knows better. You are still here, still growing, still capable of joy. 5. Finding joy within, happiness beyond friendship. In our last section, we shattered the myth that older women cannot forge new friendships, showing how courage and openness can spark meaningful bonds after 60. But there is another truth worth exploring, one that deserves its own space. Not every woman will seek or find those connections, and that is perfectly okay. Happiness in later life is not a one-size-fits-all path. For some women, true peace comes not from social circles, but from the quiet beauty of their own company, their creativity, or their inner world. So, can you live a rich, fulfilling life without close friends? The answer is a resounding, heartfelt Yes, happiness at this stage is about discovering what makes your soul sing. Whether that is in a bustling community or the stillness of solitude, many women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond find, for the first time, the freedom to turn inward after years of raising families, building careers, or caring for others. They finally have space to reconnect with themselves. In that quiet, they rediscover passions long set aside. They paint, write stories, tend to blooming gardens, or take slow walks, listening to the rhythm of their own thoughts. This is not about giving up on connection. It is about learning to feel whole in your own presence. Take Miriam, a 74-year-old who lives alone in a small mountain town. After losing her husband, she found social outings overwhelming and chose a quieter life. At first, she worried this meant she was failing at happiness. But over time, she found joy in her daily rituals, brewing morning tea, reading poetry by the window, and caring for her 2 cats. These moments were not empty. They were rich with meaning. Miriam's peace came from embracing solitude, not as isolation, but as a space to heal and grow. Her story reminds us that happiness does not always look loud or crowded. It can be soft, personal, and deeply fulfilling. That said, choosing a quieter path does not mean cutting off the world entirely. Even for those who cherish solitude, small moments of connection can light up a day. A warm chat with a neighbor, a kind word at the market, or a letter sent to an old friend. These gestures weave you into the human tapestry without demanding more than you can give. They remind you that, even without a tight-knit circle, you are part of something larger. For Miriam, these brief exchanges, like waving to the mail carrier or sharing a smile with a shop clerk, were enough to feel anchored in her community. The key is defining happiness on your own terms. Society often pushes a single image of joy, one filled with gatherings and constant connection, but that is not the only way. If you thrive in groups, build them. If you find peace alone, honor that. Or, if you want a balance, create your own rhythm. This stage of life is not about meeting others' expectations. It is about becoming fully yourself. Whether you spend your days with a book, a paintbrush, a pet, or a prayer, those choices are just as valid as a life filled with friends. They are not lesser. They are yours. Miriam found her stride by leaning into what felt true. She started journaling, pouring her thoughts onto pages that became a kind of companion. She also volunteered once a month, reading to kids at the library, which gave her a sense of purpose without overwhelming her need for quiet. These choices built a life that felt full, not because it matched anyone else's idea of happiness, but because it matched hers. You, too, can shape a life that feels right, whether it is vibrant with new friends or serene in solitude. This is your time to decide what joy looks like. There is no age limit on peace, no deadline for fulfillment. If you are seeking friends, take one step toward connection today. If you are content in your own space, celebrate that. And if you are somewhere in between, trust your heart to guide you. This journey is not about loneliness, but about rediscovering your worth. Whether you seek new friends or cherish your own company, your joy is yours to shape. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? That is your guide. Share your story below. What sparks your happiness now? Like, subscribe, and explore our playlist for more inspiration. You are not invisible. You are vital. Your next chapter is unwritten, so make it yours.